show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm here.
Okay.
You hear me?
Yeah, yep,
Blog
go live.
Talk Radio.
You hear me?
Yes. Yes, I hear you.
I'm here.
Hello, and welcome back to the night show. And we have Jerry here with us tonight. Figured Jerry might want to start off saying hello to everybody and talk a little bit about what happened with his channel and planning on coming back up.
Yay. Yeah, I got whacked off of YouTube. Matter of fact, I mean it's funny. They one of my main trolls, which is pretty much it's either Lenny Pausner or it's a man that works for him, because I've been able to see what they say, and it goes all the way back to the Honor Network. But anyways, they told me what they were going to do before they did it, and they did it, which is not a big deal, because I mean it's funny, like when these trolls do this stuff, it always ends up, what do you call it, the troll effect, when they do something and it ends up working out better for you.
Yeah, that's sort of what it comes down to. They don't want it to, but yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I mean it's just a weird karmatic thing, I think. It's when people do some inherently evil things, usually it works out better for you in the long run. So it ends up kicking them in the butt. They don't when you talk about Lenny Pausner or whatever, when he truly doesn't understand the system right and how the world really works, he ends up getting himself into a lot of trouble. So I think we're starting to see, people like him, the rest of the people involved in these things are starting to get sick and tired of people like him that are pushing it too far, that are drawing too much attention to it. And it's just stupid moves, things like the Honor Network. When you go to rob somebody, right? When you take all the money, you run and hide. You don't stay out there, continue to rob people, and keep on pissing off the people chasing you. That's just dumb. And that's what he did, and that's what some of these people did. A lot of the other parents, they ran and hid. They disappeared. You can't find them anywhere. You want to know what? They're going to be a lot harder to bring down. People that have got, that kept on pushing it, those are going to be the easiest people to take down. And I think it's a lot of people that are involved in these things are starting to see that, hey, you can't just shut up. And that's what the guy did. He won't shut up.
Well, his head swelled up. He got a whole lot of money for a lie. And he knows he got a lot of money for a lie. So he goes on thinking he can keep doing it, and everybody's just completely stupid and dumb. And,
yeah.
And he's so smarter than you, he's smarter than you. At least that's what he thinks.
Well, here's the thing is that, even Wolfgang Halbig, they're not even sure that's his real name. He's got like 3 different aliases. There's 4 different, big aliases. He probably has more than that, but those are his bigger aliases. He has a couple big aliases. And, so he's just a criminal. He's just a criminal.
Yeah.
A legitimate one.
Well, when you have to hide your name, that's the first clue that there's somebody that can't be trusted.
Anybody that hides their name and their face is somebody that can't be trusted.
Yeah.
Because if you're not hiding, you got nothing to hide. But when people hide, there's a reason.
Yeah, that's it. Some people say, well, no, I don't want to be on cam. I'm afraid, blah, blah, blah. But they'll make videos and stuff, and they never show their face.
Oh, yeah.
You have your brave ones that show their face that won't give their real name out. They don't want nobody on their real name. And even if somebody's right about their real name, they'll still deny it.
Yeah.
And that's not somebody you can trust.
There's a lot of people we can't trust anymore. You know, we're becoming a society of, just filled with people you can't trust. I remember growing up when I was a kid. You know, you didn't have to. The parents didn't have to worry about the kids running around in the neighborhood, because if they did something wrong, there was another parent or neighbor that caught it, and they would come out screaming at you, yelling at you, and I'm going to call your mom right now. And you can actually, run for, fairly long distances in your neighborhoods or whatever into the next neighborhoods, because there was a network of people that you were able to trust. I don't see that anymore. People live right next door to people and they don't even know their neighbors. And never mind neighbors that are down the street. When I grew up, shoot, I knew neighbors a mile away. Now, now people don't even know their next door neighbors.
No, that's true.
And people need to ask themselves that. People need to say, anybody out there needs to ask themselves, do you know, any house that's right next to you, whether it's one side or the other side, not just one side, but both. Ask yourself, do you know the name of every person that lives in that house? And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that can't say they can't. They do. Because we've come to that point where we're not, we just don't seem to care anymore.
Well, that's just it. Cremation of care. People don't have the ability to care anymore, and they should. It's that non-care that's allowed things to go as far as they have.
That's what it is. It's total non-care.
It is. And I get so sick and so disgusted of it. Jerry goes out of his way and he comes up here, and I've said this in videos before, and I didn't really care who I pissed off. For all the people that want to cut this guy down and say blah, blah, blah about him, but I'll tell you what, he's doing more than 90% of the people out here that are running their mouths. I mean, he's going to get up and he's going to leave his house. So it's a protest. It's a hell of a lot more than any of the rest of you idiots are doing, I'll tell you that. And I'm on board with that. I wish I had the finances to be right there with him, but I don't. But I did come up with another idea that goes right along with what he's doing. You ain't got the finances. You live on the other side of the United States. You live in the middle. You can't make that many miles to Connecticut. Okay? That's fine. That's acceptable. But why can't you get a few people together and protest in your own area? Why can't you go out and do that? I posted a video and I said just that. People, looking for somebody that's willing to get together right here in Minnesota and go out and do this. But what do we get? Well, no takers, no volunteers, nobody brave enough to get off their computer, to go out and hold a sign, to talk to the public. And those two people probably don't even know your neighbors. And that's why you're too scared to go talk to the public. Because you don't even know your neighbor.
You got Conspiracy Granny and Sidethorn, which I hope they get a chance to call in tonight. They may. I'm not sure. I know they were working on a big project, but I hope they do get a chance to call in tonight. They get out there. As a matter of fact,
we have a caller. We do have a caller.
Okay.
A 512. 512, you're on.
Hello?
Well, hello.
Hello?
Hello?
Jerry, is that you?
Yeah, this is. Hello?
We are here, Conspiracy Granny and
you did call. I was just talking about you. We were just talking about...
We're burning.
Yeah. We're just talking about how nobody wants to get off their ass and do anything. And I said, well, at least Conspiracy Granny and Sidethorn actually do. And so it's actually a good thing that we got you on, because you guys are kind of my heroes. Just you guys are kind of my heroes because it's kind of by default. There's nobody else out there that are doing anything. So you got no competition, basically.
Well, I have to agree with Jerry totally. I mean, you know, I'm so impressed with Scythor there and Conspiracy Granny. I'm so impressed with them, and I wish more people would be just like them. I'm not afraid to go out there. I'd go out there in a heartbeat. And I know Jerry, you know, he's doing his protest. And I'm trying to get people in my area to do the same thing Jerry is going to go to Connecticut and do. And if we can get people to do that all across the United States, and if we could get people to do what Scythorn and Conspiracy Granny's doing, that'd be awesome. But I can't get somebody to even leave their house because I guess they're all scared, huh?
Can you tell us a little bit more about the Sutherland Springs? Because you know that was a big thing. Seeing Scythorn grab that pastor aside, I'd love to get your feelings on what you felt after talking to him.
You believe we just back a little while ago again. We attended last Sunday. The people. We've got a couple more interviews that are going to really shock some people when they come out. We've had some good conversations with the pastor one-on-one that lost his daughter. Today we had a nice little conversation with Stephen. Looks like he's his best friend. He's the actual man that killed the shooter. But that wasn't even half of it. On our way out there today, you wouldn't believe that we drove another Sutherland Springs boat in action.
Yeah, we're not getting the best connection there. A little bit. I don't know if we could do much better than that. But you know, what I was most taken by is hearing that pastor say, you know, he was kind of leading that this was all about, you know, people coming back to spirituality, which to me is signifying that a lot of this is being done to bring about a one world type of religion. And I don't know how you felt about that, or is it just that the people that are involved in these things are being told that so that they are a part of these things?
They know what's going on. Three of them know exactly what's going on. I've got a lot of people that don't. They're just secondhand and actually lost them. Well, take two. Honestly, y'all can break it down.
Yeah, I'm still getting a bad connection with you. Go ahead, Conspiracy Granny.
Oh, it's better?
Yeah, it's a little better.
Oh, is that better?
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Because we're just working on a video, so if everyone goes to 153.net and subscribe to all the good truthers out there, we're going to post our video we did today at Sutherland Springs. So we're not done yet.
Well, that's good. And you know what the great thing is, I would just as fast as 153 News came on the scene, it actually took off a lot faster, you know, than I expected. You know, it hasn't been that long, and it's starting. You know, it's not huge out there yet, but it's moving pretty quick.
It's priceless in my book.
Yeah. Well, it is to me
and
too.
It's growing. Yes, it's growing by leaps and bounds.
It will.
It will, because you know
So
you got
we're
you.
We're glad you're part of the equation.
Well, I mean, I'm glad too, because I mean, you know, it was something that was almost like it was needed. You know, just between me constantly getting screwed with on YouTube, and you know, I was looking for an excuse to not have to go back to YouTube. You know, I still may put up another account and post things under it, but to me, it's a waste, because even what I'm seeing is the type of traffic that they're driving there. It's almost like a headache to deal with the type of people that are there. So it's always going to be a headache. And 153 News is just, I don't know, it just feels like I can upload the stuff and not be hassled. And, you know,
you got it.
You know, and the thing about it too is I just feel better about it being around so many people like you and Jason and so many others that, you know, where I was constantly seeing so many people out there that are being deceived by so many people on YouTube. It's unbelievable. You know, we just you know, I was telling, you know, me and Bill, we tracked down where Jason Goodman lived. and he lives in a $4.9 million apartment. And then it makes me sick that they're out there asking for money. And I can't believe who these people are that they're doing these things. Slythor Granny, you there? Hello? Am I there?
They dropped out, Jerry.
They dropped out?
I'm going to keep my eyes. I'm sure they'll come back. Maybe they lost the connection.
Yeah. That stinks.
But yeah, they dropped out. I'm sure they'll be back.
Yeah, that stinks. But, well, I hope everybody get their connection didn't come through. But Slythor and Granny, they did tell me a little bit about what they were doing. And we're keeping on the DL. And let me tell you something. These people do awesome work. So when they say they got something coming that you need to watch, you need to watch it. So if you're not, if you haven't signed up for 153 News yet, do it. You don't need to sign up to watch the videos, but if you want to, have your own account where you can load up or
they're back.
Leave comments. Okay.
Let me bring them back in. Okay, you guys are back in the show. I don't know, maybe the connection's bad, but welcome back.
Oh, it must be hurting on the bandwidth tonight.
Again. And they're gone again as fast as they got back.
Jeez, yeah. Well, I'm sure they get it. They get attacked just as much as I do, if not more, because they are doing good work. He's been probably kicked off. I'm not even sure how many times, or if he's even counted how many times he's been kicked off of YouTube.
Okay, let me try to get him back in again.
All right.
Okay, Slythor and Granny are back on again.
Yeah, we're out in the country.
Well, that's what happens when you're out in the country. We lost them again, didn't we?
No, they're here.
They're here. Okay. You there, Granny? No, Granny's not there.
Hello.
Hello? You there?
We're here.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're out down there in Texas. I thought you got eaten by some rattlesnakes or something. I don't know.
Yeah. They're everywhere.
Yeah, I like Texas, but that's one reason I'm not big on snakes. I'm up here in Maine. We don't have any snakes.
Just the two-legged kind.
Yeah, right?
They're all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead, Gray.
Oh, we're just having some flyers made up for you, so hopefully they'll be there in time for your
protest.
Your protest.
Yeah, I'll send you my address so you can send them out, and that way they can get there. Because what I did is I moved again around here. I was talking to my local police chief, and he was telling me, he says, don't let them know where you live. I'm lucky that I live in a town with a pretty cool police chief, but I don't know if you guys know. I mean, I went to court, and I even had the judge admit that these things go on, which was the most ridiculous thing I ever heard in my life. I ordered the transcripts, so I have copies of the transcripts. I don't know if I ever sent one to Granny or not, but I'll have to. And just having having the judge, you've gone through it too, where you have an experience where they pretty much admit it, and it's just like, it makes you feel like I'm not crazy. This is really going on.
Yeah, it is a very shocking when it happens. Very shocking. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people out there, they don't understand that. When you actually hear it from their mouths, it's a whole different experience because it verifies everything that you've talked about.
Well,
Yeah.
what's sad?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Good.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, when we saw that video that you did when you confronted Jason Biggs, now why do you think somebody like him will still clam up? Is it because he signed the NDAs, or what is it that they got over these people?
I don't know. I think it's a career thing. I mean, he's got all those connections, Alex Jones and InfoWars and everything else. He's not going to burn those bridges. So he's with the plan. He signed on. But you're probably right. It's some sort of non-disclosed.
Yeah, because I noticed that, there was very few, I mean, I've been in communication with a lot of people in the truth community. And when I wanted to, them to, I even told them, I said, yeah, I don't need to be directed to, people don't need to be directed to any site or anything like that. They just need to know about the protest, because it's, in other words, it's for our safety too, the people that are going, that the more people that know about it, the less chance they're going to do anything. And how many of the people in the truth community just clammed up, just even, the not even wanting to share the information about the protest? That blew me away. There are some that did share it, but it just blew me away how many ran away from it.
Terrible. Yeah, do you have any people that are confirmed going to be there with you?
Yeah, I do. Which, thank God, because I mean, that's just for my safety too, and everybody else's safety. We have each other's safety. As long as if we have 3 or 4 cameras going, videotaping the whole thing, or hopefully where we're going to go, we're going to be able to live stream it. That way, it's for everybody's safety. What I'm getting from the people, and what I'm getting from the people in Connecticut is that they don't want to touch it because, number one, I think it's the reason why they went after me in Kalamazoo and did what they did the way they did it to me is because they wanted me away from the court system. They didn't want me in court, and they probably knew I was going to do something like I did here in Maine, where I went to court and had a judge admit that these things go on. So, I'm not too worried. And the other vibe I'm getting from the people in the Connecticut area, the few people that are awake in the area are fed up. They're fed up about it, that it's still going on. And I can understand that. The problem is there's a lot of people there from that just don't want to talk about it. They're scared to talk about it. And that's the tough part, is getting people over to that part where they're scared.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever get them past that point. We run into that every day.
Yeah.
I see it because I was watching that one where Granny's up there in that mall that's shooting. And that gal, she was so flipped out. She was so mad. I mean, because she totally believes that this fake shooting is real.
Right. Yeah, she was a crisis actor or something.
She was acting, and she didn't. It was bad acting.
It's bad acting.
She doesn't have to act at all. I just happened to throw a wrench into her standing around doing nothing.
Okay, well, that'd be sort of, I guess, like in Hooters. Because you did see that footage in Hooters, right? Where that guy got kicked out of the motel room and he was live streaming on Facebook. And he wound up on the backside of Hooters and goes up front. And there's all the paramedics up there in Vegas. And everybody's just standing around doing nothing. You had that, and you had that casino worker right there who did that interview saying how people come through the door and with bullet holes and broken knees and blah, blah, blah. But yet here's the guy right in front of Hooters filming the paramedics all standing around doing nothing. Okay? And then you get this clown up on YouTube who's telling people that's because you got to be able to read the truth in that video. The truth is that the paramedics were at the staging ground waiting for the people to trickle in, to filter in, so that they would have people to take care of.
Yeah, because they knew where to go. It was a comedy show.
Well, a lot of these are. They're just. I mean, the way they're put together. I mean, once you realize what's going on, I mean, some of it's just funny. One thing about the Sutherland Springs shooting there is, just about every mass casualty, shooting, car run over, whatever you call it, I was able to get a lot of symbology that helped direct me to another false flag. And the symbology was like nil in Sutherland Springs. So I don't know if you guys noticed anything when you were down there.
Yeah, we drove up on a hoax going on today. You wouldn't believe it. At
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
We zoomed in on it. No. It went down as we were at another church in Sutherland Springs today. That's the video we're going to put out.
Are you shitting me?
Swear to fucking God. River Oaks Church. Don't forget that. River Oaks Church. They did a car crash in the front of the church, in the driveway of the church. And they had all the church members walking in and out of the crime scene, the whole thing, man. We pulled over in the ditch and filmed the whole thing.
Is that why it didn't go mainstream or go, get announced anywhere? Or is it, what do you think they're going to do with it?
I think it's just a local drill, man. They're doing this everywhere. We had one here in Lockhart. Yes. We filmed one in Lockhart, too, that was supposed to be a rollover crash. There was no rollover crash. We filmed the thing fall to part of the wreck. It's unbelievable.
Now, why so
drilling?
Well, we know they do these all over the country, but why so many in Texas?
I don't know, but Sutherland Springs is the thing. Now, I'd look for a pattern. I swear I would look in the Newtown area if there wasn't a bunch of little small car crashes and stuff like that in the area after Sandy.
Oh, yeah, I've already found that, just like in Kalamazoo. There were, when they had the false flag, there was 3 of them in a row. There was another shooting that didn't go mainstream, and then there was a fake bicycle accident. And the bicycle accident was identical to the one in New York City. And for the longest time, I had been telling people, because of the unit, the civilian affairs unit that they have in Kalamazoo, that this was a place where they practiced these things. And some of them seem to get big, and some are like more generalized. They're almost like practice, and I understand that, for these FEMA grants or these Homeland Security grants, they have to agree to these training, these, events, Cap Zone and FEMA events, whatever you want to call them. And that's how they get their grants. So they constantly go on throughout the country, but it seems like some just go live and some don't.
Yeah, we noticed that these every time the actual sheriff is on scene, and this was supposed to be just a rear-end crash today, but one car was totaled, the other one didn't have a single scratch.
Oh, yeah.
They drove off the crash vehicle and parked it in the church parking lot when they were through with the drill.
Isn't it ridiculous? It's how some of these areas, and I found with Sandy Hook is right after that happened, the amount of grants that rode in, they didn't just roll in for the school. They rolled in to revamp the whole downtown, or the whole Fairfield Hills Hospital area. They rolled in and they stole the aquifers under the ground. There was money that it flipped it over and gave it to the new Suez Company. And I was chasing some of these events that it wasn't just Sandy Hook that was next to an aquifer that they stole, and every time I see that FEMA grant was used to steal an aquifer, it reminds me of T-Bone Pickett saying, the water is the new gold, when he said that good 15 20 years ago. So and then when I hear about Sutherland Springs, I'm wondering, wait a second here, because what happens with these towns, they might have a town manager or whatever. He's getting a big bonus and a ton of money for taking in these grants. So he doesn't care what happens. And so if these part of these grants, people don't realize that they're stealing the aquifer or something like that that's under them, the average citizen's not going to understand this. They just know a ton of money's coming into the town. Now, my guess it's being named Sutherland Springs, that there might actually be an aquifer there, or at least a spring.
Yeah, there was one time. We've got some pictures on 153 right now of some of the Sutherland Springs. What do you call them? Little historical plaques and markers, and they tell that story. So, yeah, that picture's on there with all that information. We took a few more pictures of some plaques around the area too, right off of County Road 333 in 09 yards.
So there is a spring there. Is that what you're telling me? There
in history. Yes.
So if there was in history, the aquifer is still there.
Right.
Yeah, I bet you it's right under there, and I can guarantee within not too long you're going to see a grant roll in that's going to benefit the town, but people aren't going to read deep into it, and that grant's going to steal that aquifer right from under their nose.
Yeah, that must be on the county level there because that's actually one of the few towns still left that's unincorporated. They don't even have a police department, a mayor, anything in Sutherland Springs. They're all running it out of Floresville. Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed kind of small when I was looking at it.
Yeah,
It seemed very small.
It looks
Yeah,
awful
there's
small.
nothing there. There's nothing there.
That's the only thing you'd want is the water.
Yeah,
And
that
that's,
makes sense.
Well, you know,
All they got. That's
they
it.
take the water, or if they take the water, once they get the water in their hands, people don't realize. I mean, how long are you going to survive without water? It's just like with food. That's a resource. You can't
Not
let,
long.
you can't let a pack of criminals own all the water and all the resources. I mean, you know, in Colorado, you got some spots right now where it's actually, they're making a law saying it's illegal to collect rainwater.
Well, I mean, that's what's happening in Sandy Hook is there's a couple of families that just found out that they're being charged because they have been running their own, they have property. They've been having, so as long as they had their property, they've been having a well. And now the city's saying, well, it's actually the New Suez Water Company. They're doing it so through a subsidiary. And then they're telling them that, no, you owe us money. You cannot. And not only that, you have to stop the well. You can't get water from there anymore because it's their water. So, in other words, the water that's under these people's land, it literally got stolen from them in these FEMA grants.
Kiss my grits is what I tell.
Well, yeah, that's what there's a couple people fighting it.
Yeah, we know how that fight's going to go.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, exactly. And that's the sad thing. But when the mayor gets a ton of money or the other public officials get a ton of money, they don't care what happens to the rest of the townspeople that are, that may have had that land passed down from, generations or whatnot. Half these people. When I grew up in the Sandy Hook area, when I was a kid, Sandy Hook was like a small little neighborhood. It didn't have all those houses. Many of those houses, many of those new developments just popped up. It's like they came out of nowhere. And so it was always very small, and it was people that lived there forever. Then all of a sudden, all these New Yorkers, after 9/11, started coming in. They started all coming into Connecticut after 9/11. All these New York people to get away from the city a little bit more. And the property values shot through the roof. And of course, all these old timers that have been around there hunting in the woods and this and that. Then they had, the people in the Sandy Hook area all of a sudden had a problem with the hunters, and these people and the people from Sandy Hook that were hunting were like, wait a second, this is our Sandy Hook. How did it become their Sandy Hook? So those are the people that are upset.
Always will.
And it was like a takeover of that whole town.
They need to be upset.
Yeah. But it's tough when you have the power that they have there. When you have, it's been always known that they have Heritage Village there. Heritage Village is a kibbutz. It's a private Jewish community, and it's large. It's very large. It takes up most of the town. And for years, everybody always knew that agents of the Mossad lived there. Nobody really ever talked about it. It was all foreign dignitaries. Everybody that lives in Heritage Villages has a dual citizenship. So it's a very unique community, and people still have not talked about that on any Sandy Hook videos, on the relationship of Heritage Village to the area and how much control they have.
They'd be shut down and their channel terminated.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've experienced that.
Well, I've lost three. I lost 3 channels. I'm locked out of 2 channels, and I'm 1 strike away from losing a 4th. And I got my backup that I opened up so Jerry and I could continue our shows. But I don't know how long that'll be there needed, because anytime we start touching real truth, I seem to get lots of strikes, and so does Jerry, and we get thrown off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rhonda wants to.
We've experienced that a lot.
Oh, yeah, I know you have. I've watched you get cut down so many times that luckily you have thick enough blood that you're actually still fighting back. We've lost too many that just gave up.
Well, that's just it. I was going to ask these guys, have you guys got any ideas what we can do that possibly might get people to leave their computer, get off their dead burr, and try to do something about something?
Yeah, we're gonna have to unify locally, and then we're gonna have to put these people together in their own communities. But they'll have to come to us at like 153 or something, and we'll hook them. We need to take the responsibility to hook them up together in those communities. Put a couple of them together in the same area, and they'll start meeting up. They should. We have.
Yeah,
what
I
we
mean,
should do.
that's something that me and Bill actually talked about too before. Is that was the whole boots on the ground thing, is getting people, getting people somewhere. Everybody to sign up, and then their only obligation is if a false flag or something happens, to get there right away and start filming. And
Yes.
Yeah, that's what the boots on the ground idea was. I run into a little bit of resistance. People say, well, you could get hurt or killed. And I'm like, do you think your founding fathers got you the freedom you have from sitting behind a computer? No. Because we're not going to change anything sitting behind a computer. You have to get out and do something.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I love all the people that are behind that computer, but we're finding out that the pieces of the puzzle that we're missing, and they're out here. They're not on the computer.
Yeah, exactly right. They could see that from watching your work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. The things we figure out every day. I mean, we haven't talked about any of this thing to anybody here. I mean, the little pieces of the puzzle we're putting together, like you have with the water and everything else. It's just, I mean, we are figuring it out, guys. But yeah, it starts really to fill in. Everything comes clear when you're out here looking in their eyes and holding their hand in your hand.
Well, yeah, and that's the big thing I've been trying to tell people is, it's a lot harder for them to lie when you're staring them right in their eyes, and putting them in a position where they have to lie to your face. It's easy to lie online in the media, and it's a lot harder for them to do it in your face.
But they're still good at it. Just like we talked to the killer today, the guy that shot the mass shooter, the local hero guy there. Well, we got to meet him today and talk to him face to face, 1-on-1. We didn't really get into anything. It was just like a meet and greet. But here he goes with the story. You know what I mean? Instantly into the story, man. He didn't even fucking ask.
So he was at the second false flag also?
No, he was at the church when we went through the first false flag, and they finally opened the road back up, and then we drove on down to the Southern church where the shooting happened, and we went to service there. We went and drove.
We're losing you again. Yeah, I think we lost them, Bill.
Well, it shows they're still here, but I know what you're saying. The connection went bad again.
Yeah. If you guys can hear us, just yell when you think you're through. Whatever. Nope, we're still not hearing you.
Okay, they dropped out. They'll probably try to call back again. Yeah. Well, that's just it. It's just like the one world religion. They're actually putting that together right now on everybody's face.
I think that that's something I encourage everybody. You got to go check out Cythorn's work. I know he's not up on YouTube anymore, but you got to go to 153news.net and watch the video he did confronting the pastor. Just watch it.
Oh,
it will open your eyes to so much.
He did outstanding work. I mean, Cythorn and Granny are back again. So,
you guys back?
We're back.
We did have a question. We had a question from one of the people on the live chat because they saw of course, you always see the gay crisis actors, and they wanted to know how big the gay community was in Sutherland Springs.
we didn't notice maybe one young guy. That was about it.
That was it. Yeah. And it is interesting that we often see so many, people in the LGBT community that are involved in these false flags. I always say that that goes back to the Presidio in San Francisco and the whole MK Ultra program, and how they're the main reason why there's so many people, because so many people from that program are gay, and it's part of the programming.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We're seeing that they are the players, though. They're not sticking around. I don't believe they're the locals at all. You know what I mean?
Oh no, yeah, those are the
gone.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of those players, they just come in and they do their part, their history. You won't see them again until the next false flag or whatever.
Right. That's what's going on with the Langendorf dude. The one that jumped in, or gave the dude a ride and they chased him down.
Yeah.
Langendorf, remember that? Okay, well, he's disappeared. He's nowhere. We're looking for him in every service. He's not there anymore.
Yeah,
he's not in the town at all.
I think they do use a lot of these MK Ultra victims or whatever, and and they're very easy to use. They're they're programmed to do missions and then totally forget. And those are the best people to use. So after they're done with this stuff, they can they'll totally forget they were even involved in it.
Yeah, we were wondering that about that Stephen Willifer today that we met, the shooter, the hero. He believes his shit, dude. I mean, he acts like he really believes it.
He probably does. He may act, that's the thing, if people don't understand the MK Ultra type of programming. There's so many different facets of it. Somebody can actually be, be programmed to believe something is real. So they're going to believe it. And it doesn't matter how much you put it in front of them, because their brain was trained to believe it. They're going to believe it. And not only that, it was the 26th. Yeah, Zach just jumped on here. Zach Hubbard just jumped on, and he was talking about the 26 dead. Just like Sandy Hook, and some of these other ones that had the 26 symbol out. The only other symbology is actually something I really caught from you when you dropped the camera down just enough to see the back of one of the chairs at the church, and it had like a rose on it, the Santa Rosa, which was symbolic of the Rosary Cross or the Rosicrucians. But I didn't get any other symbology out of that whole false flag at all. I know you guys aren't so much into it like I am, but you might.
Yeah, look up, Google the word Langendorf. That's really got us to where we didn't want to say anything until we had figured exactly what's going on there.
Yeah,
that's pretty that says something, man. I don't know. We can't pin it down either. There's so many clues.
Well, maybe that's one Zach can check out for if he heard it, because that's something he'll be good at. If he heard that, Zach, check that off. Do you know the spelling of it?
Yeah, Langendorf, and it's 2 F's.
Okay.
And it's the Langendorf procedure is what it is, and I mean they're giving us clues here, and I'm hoping that we're documenting enough of those clues with our cameras that we're just not picking up on. But they've got some new signs out there. They've got some Las Vegas Strong and some now Sutherland Springs signs hanging up on the fence that we got real good footage of. They're all signs. So there's some clues there. There's some clues there that will be published in this raw footage. So.
Well, if they put up the Strong campaign, go ahead, Granny.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, if they put up the Strong name on that, that means they're actually registered with the United Nations. And I forgot, I can't remember every detail of it, but it gives them certain privileges along with that. I can't remember what it is, if it's grants that don't come just federally, but also from the United Nations. I can't remember every detail of it. But when they have the Strong name on it, it's a whole thing. It's a legitimate false flag.
we got a commenter here who said
you know it.
Yeah.
Go ahead and read the comment there, Jerry, if you can see it.
The Langendorf heart is an in vitro procedure used in pharmacological research, which allows the examination of cardiac functions. So,
right, and that was their choice of the hero, and they promoted that guy more than they did the actual shooter that saved everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying he has since disappeared.
Well, I know in French, lang, or in Indian, it means tongue. So the endorph, I'm not sure what means, but I know lang means tongue. So, that I do know.
I know that and all the other pieces that we're going to find it. We're going to find it. It'll be the next big one is what they're showing us here.
But yeah, we want to know with a little bit of the coding. We saw 87 in there, which I think is more indicative of a assassination for the next one. But with the 87 coding, but I don't know if me and Zach are on the same page with that yet. But I think it was leading to, because that whole 87 basically was referring to Anthony Scalia's assassination.
Wow.
So they put his assassination coding inside the Sutherland Springs shooting. We did see that much. But why would they put that in there is a whole different story. I don't know. I haven't been able to figure that out. It didn't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah, we don't know. It's mind blowing, man. I mean, this is, and to drive into one today like we did. I mean, you just see, and the same sheriff that we filmed that night at the Sutherland Springs church shooting. I mean, it's surreal out here, man.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of it I thought was, Texas had a lot because, Texas had a major MK Ultra program going on for a long time. They had it in San Antonio, Austin, and what is it, north of Dallas, where they have all the military bases. And that's why, I figured that's why they've had so many of them. But what I'm learning is some of these mid-sized and major cities, the way the deep state has their hands intertwined with so many people that run the cities, whether they're the police chief or whether they are the mayor or whoever, you can see how their hands are just intertwined with these people, and it's really bizarre. Because I noticed a difference when I moved way up here in Maine. It was a total difference. It was like the octopus's arms didn't reach this far.
Yeah, well, little squirrels asking, do people die usually, or are they hoaxes? No. Most of the time they're hoaxes. Most of the time nobody dies at all.
I think you could let Scythor and Granny answer that one.
What's that again?
We had a question if people actually die at these things.
Not anyone we've ever investigated. And that's quite a few.
Yeah. And matter of fact, Scythor and Granny are offering a $100,000 reward. Would you want to give the details of the reward? Not only that, so I can say it right when we're at the protest.
Yeah, you can just have everybody just go to Scythorn.com. We just put a new little page up. It basically just has the 33 listed of we're offering $100,000 reward for real proof of death in any one of these 33 events. Nobody died in any one of them.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But
we're hoping though one take us to court, though. We're looking forward to that.
Oh,
well, that's what we need. And I was even talking with Jim Fessler. I said, despite who we got to stop a lot of this infighting, this and that, but we need to force a court case somehow. Because what I noticed is when I was in court and just getting that judge to admit that these things go on, we need to, because we see some of these court cases, but we don't even know if these are legitimate court cases. We need to get somebody that's really fighting this, that we know is legit, and put them in a courtroom where they can ask a judge to their face, hey, how do you live with yourself going along with this crap? We need to force a court case somehow.
Yeah, I would like to see that. I think the $100,000 thing that Scythor and Granny has posted up there is probably one of the most awesome ideas I've seen anybody do, and it's proven what I knew it would prove. All these people keep coming out. I know somebody that blah blah blah. I know somebody, my cousin, blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, then why ain't you got $100,000?
Exactly.
That's what we've been saying. Nobody.
And you know, I know this. It has to really piss some of these people off really bad, because they know they're lying, and they know they want that money, but they can't get the money because they're lying.
Well, you know what I thought of doing is, was one the protest is done because I don't want anybody else involved, but was stopping by the Newtown Town Hall and asking them if I can have something in writing that proves that somebody died, because I want to collect this reward.
There you go.
You know,
Jerry.
I will, because I mean, it's crazy, because I mean, I grew up in the area, and I see so many people are scared to say anything about. I mean, you can't tell me that. We used to go up in the woods in Sandy Hook. When I was in high school, we went up to Sandy Hook, and we'd go swimming, or we'd be up in the mountain there smoking pot. And you're not going to tell me I can't go to the town hall or do something else because I'm scared. I mean, just how things I've seen change since I've left is so bizarre. I mean, my stomping grounds, and all of a sudden, people are too scared to question things. That to me is really bizarre.
Well, we will have a flyer, and you can bring them one. That would be hilarious.
Oh, I will. I'll sneak it on tape too. I got no problem. I mean, I got no problem walking right up to them. Because I mean, this is my old stomping grounds. I mean, I'm not gonna freaking, not gonna run away from anybody up there. It's just crazy. I also wanted to stop in a few places. Go ahead, Granny.
Oh, he just wears.
Huh?
So you don't have to, a GoPro is really like GoPros.
Oh, you like the GoPros? Hello? Yeah, we're losing it.
Hello? Oh, we're in the country again. Anyway, yeah. I've got like 12% on my phone.
Yeah, we'll let you go.
I'm
going to send you my address so you can get me those flyers out.
Yes, and hopefully everyone will meet us on 153news.net, and it's awesome.
Yeah,
I saved a lot of time not YouTube, and who's talking about what. We left that drama. You can have it. They can all have it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, good to hear that. All right, we'll get everybody over there.
Okay, thank you, Jerry.
Hey, thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah,
man.
We didn't get the name of the other person we talked to.
It was Bill.
That's my partner.
Hey,
Jerry.
awesome.
All right.
Hell yeah, man. We're a team now, guys.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys. All right.
Thanks, bye. All right, bye.
Bye.
Yeah, we didn't have the best reception there, but it's always nice to hear from them.
Oh, it definitely was. It made my night.
Yeah. Well, it's nice when you get to talk to some people that are, man. I mean, I beg for anybody that hasn't heard Cy Thorner Granny to please go to 153 News. He lost a lot of stuff from YouTube, but they're loading up stuff every day, and and I'm glad he was telling us about. It was hard to hear it because it was all broken up. But they went to Sutherland Springs again today, and they went to a service there for the false flag and all that. And they talked to the supposed shooter of the person that did the shooting, and they crossed the path of another false flag. And that's only in America can you be going to the service of a false flag and go through another false flag.
that has to be mind boggling to think about that.
if you were to tell somebody that, 20 years ago that's a situation like that would happen, and you know what, Saito, I think he has one of those lives too, where like mine, where they happen to just stumble upon stuff too. They're in the right place, the right time, but in actuality, it's kind of the wrong place at the right time. And that's just kind of crazy that they did that. But Seinthorn, he has the guts to get in these people, and so does Granny. And I know sometimes they try and hold Granny back because she will go off. I don't ever want to cross paths with her. She will go off. If you've seen some of her videos, she's great too. So I mean, you have to watch that video with him and the pastor.
They're awesome. I mean, and they're right, because one of the bad things that we have is we live in a world full of liars. Everybody wants to lie, 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 lie. And it's even more sickening is how they all want to lie, but then they don't want to be lied to.
It's a sick world, is what you're right. What it comes down to, it's a sick world.
Yeah.
And each of us got to play like some kind of world doctor, where we need to try and figure out ways to help it, because it is so sick.
Well, he is right. I'm glad that they brought up something about trying to put people together in their areas, so that you have people in your local area that you will be able to have direct contact with.
Maybe that's not the worst idea. Maybe if we should start a site, is instead of leaving it up to people, I'm not trying to ridicule anybody out there, but I'm saying is, it seems like we got to get somehow something moving. Maybe we can just match people up. Not saying for dating servers or anything, but I'm just saying if there's two people in a state that want to be proactive, we're gonna say, well, guess what? You're not picking. We're telling you two are going to be a team now.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's exactly it. If you get 2 or 3 or 4 people in one state and you pair them people up, now you've got a group of people that can go investigate what's going on in their state.
And then, and that's it. I mean, and not only that is they can, one can communicate with the other. Hey, listen, I can't make it over to this section, or you're closer to that part of the state. Can you get over there? Or, hey, I need a ride over there. Can you help me so we can videotape this over there? Whatever the situation may be. But, we got to get people together somehow so we can make a difference.
Well, that's
and
exactly
not only that is if we can make it so they're within a network where they're going to have the support so we can help them out. Well, because if everybody's scared that they're going to go to jail or something like that, or, get locked up for trespassing at the worst, well, if you have a network behind you, we can, quickly open up a PayPal drive to get the money to bail you out. That's something I want to, I want to happen is, anybody that if we're going to somehow build a community, we have to be willing to support each other if something happens.
Exactly.
And, I think we can do this. We just have to, somehow get that going.
Well, yeah, that's it. It's sort of like, Jerry's doing this protest, and he's going on his own, and he's got a couple people, maybe whatever. I sure hope they'll show up with him. And I'm always going to be right here. If he wants to do a live feed or something while he's down there, we'll work out something. But at the same time, I'm wanting to get something going right down here in Minnesota where I'm at. Because it shouldn't be just Jerry. People need to realize this is affecting all of us. So, if I could get 2, 3 people together here in Minnesota, we could go do our own protest on the same subject that we want. And that's the thing, man. We need to start working together.
Yeah. But it can be done. It can be done, and it needs to happen quick because, my feeling on it is whatever's coming, soon there's going to be either another big one or we're going to take a little bit of a break and they're going to continue to hit us. Because you got to remember, as long as we do nothing, they're going to continue with whatever they can get away with.
Yeah.
And that's just it, and And what they're, I mean, just look at YouTube. It's turned into one big giant MK Ultra programming website.
Well,
That's what it's turned into.
And what did you see today, Jerry? Didn't you see something where Google had put something up trying to tell people going to BitChute is dangerous?
Oh yeah, they're warning people that BitChute, if people left a link to a BitChute video or something, when people clicked on it, they're getting a response from Google or YouTube that was saying, I think it was from YouTube, saying that the site was dangerous, and it could contain all malware, and it could be all this crazy stuff, to it's basically scaring people, trying to scare people away from the site. And you know what? It might work with some people. It's not going to work with everybody, but it's going to work on some people. They're going to get scared. But they don't want, they don't want people. They want to keep you in the MK Ultra programming. They want to keep you listening to the lies.
Yeah, they don't want you. They don't want you going to 153 or BitChute because you might find truth.
I want to address this because these demonic forces things come out and whatnot, and I do know there's another something out there, right? But here's the thing. They have to scare you into believing there's all kinds of demonic forces so that you come back running to religion. And me, Bill, have talked about the one world religion and how they're going to call whatever future God source. Okay? So if you start hearing people say source, that's all one world religion stuff. And they're trying to drive people. There's nothing wrong with, spiritualism or and love and all those great things. And many of the things they talk about. The problem is that these are the same evil, satanic, Masonic crap that created the religions that are out there today. And we see how well that's worked out. The religions have turned nothing into pedophiles and doing evil things and influencing politics and everything else. So here's the thing. Even if there's stuff they're saying is good, it's still going to be the same evil people behind it. So in other words, if we can cut them out of it and have whatever type of love and spirituality that's out there, that's fine. But we can't. But you can't have them involved.
Yeah,
that's just my feeling.
Well, I agree with that because you look at the reality. Jerry and I did a video or so introducing people to the Fetcher Institute. That is one world religion. They even have a channel on YouTube.
Oh, they're talking about how they're going to bring it about and everything else. They're going to push it through the New Age movement. So, all these, these New Age centers are going to pop up everywhere. If you wanted to be a yoga instructor right now, would be the perfect time because they'll give you grants like crazy, as long as you're part of their stupid New Age agenda. And there'll be people out there that are greedy enough to take them and do it, and that's the problem. That's what we're fighting with, is we're fighting against money that is to the sum of astronomical. They have so much money that is ready to fund this stuff. It's unreal. Nobody's been talking about the one world religion.
No.
And this is actually more of a big key than it is of the New World Order. Everybody talks about the New World Order. Well, that's great. They scared everybody from the New World Order, so they can slip in the one world religion, and New World Order will be easy. They want to keep people away from talking about, how they're integrating themselves through the New Age movement and through all the churches. If you watched, the Pope had councils that, were all these different churches, whether they're Presbyterian, Unitarian, Baptist, whatever, Methodist, they all have agreed to all this new crap, so it is what it is.
Yeah, well, they have like $400 million.
Yeah, Zach said 153 News has to be Christian. I don't know if it's Christian. Jason Boss, the one who did it, he's um, yeah, he is a religious person, the guy that created it, and yeah. I don't know if he's Christian or not, but he is religious, and he doesn't push his religion on anybody. I don't know. I never got into what his religion was, but um, the guy that created it is religious, and he puts a video up every once in a while, and it is the most non-threatening video. But hey, you know, you know, once you see it, he's just a guy with a beard that that did a good thing, and you can sit there and swear like crazy and say what you want, and they don't care. So, like I said, I don't have anything against anybody else's religions. I know Zach got mad because I was knocking the Baha'i faith or whatever, however you call it. But I wasn't knocking it. I'm just knocking the guy. But every religion has a bad guy. Every religion has been tainted by some idiot at one time.
Religion is division.
And I have no problem with anybody's religions. I believe in people should be able to worship whatever they want. And although there's some religions like the Mormons and other ones, I think are totally and completely insane. But if people want to believe that, they have every right to believe it.
Well, yeah,
And,
I mean, I'm not going to. I'm not going to sit and knock somebody's faith down to what they want to believe. If you
No.
have a free society, then you got to allow people to have their own belief, but you don't shove your belief down somebody else's throat.
No. I'm definitely not a Christian. That's for sure. I mean, I don't even know if I have it. I think I like the old Ziggy Marley song. My love is my religion. Right? I think that's the song he wrote or he sang. So that's about the only religion I have. I'm willing to love anybody, unless they're an asshole. Then I think that's another thing is people get scared. You're not supposed to hate anybody anymore. No, if they're an asshole or they're a piece of crap, it's okay to hate them. For real. That's self-protection. That's how we protect ourselves. I mean, that's the thing. If they tell you that, you gotta forgive and forget. No, where these people they forgive like the killer of their kids or something like that. No. I'm sorry, somebody killed my kid, I'm killing them back. I mean that's just how it is. And that's how we know some of these things they don't kill anybody at these false flags, because a real normal parent, if their kid died and there was a question to how the event happened, they would want to make sure that was perfectly clear. They would be not quitting. They would not be giving up. They wouldn't be staying out of the news. They would be, what the hell happened? I mean, in these hoaxes, all these people are all peaceful and loving. Bullshit. You have a close family member or a child die, you're off the hook. I don't care. And if you're not off the hook, you're not a normal parent. That's what my belief.
Well, most of these churches, I get my kick out of them. My brother and his wife years ago, they went to church faithfully every Sunday, right? And I went a few times with them. And the thing I noticed was you got all these so-called people that are Christians, and they were Christians, right? And they got their belief and they got their faith, right? And they're blah, blah, blah. And they go in there and they get forgiven, forgiven. Got to be forgiven, right, Jerry?
Yeah.
And so they go right out the door and they commit another sin and another sin and another sin and another sin. And then next week they go back and say, "Oh, forgive me," and walk back out the door and repeat. And it's like, wow, really? So you're a fake Christian? I understand.
And and Zach's right. Well, I'm glad he wasn't mad about the Behafe. Glad he wasn't mad. But religion is division. All right. And I think me and Bill talk about division all the time. Okay. the problem is, yeah, religion's division, but I believe in more in the individual being able to worship what they want because of individuality, and everybody should have individuality. And religion is is division because we have religious leaders that created the religion or turned their religions into being division. And that's why it's religion. The problem is not so much with these religions all the time; it's with the people that run them. Just like anything else. A lot of these corporations could be just fine and dandy if it wasn't for the people that ran them that were so evil. And it's and that's why we have to worry about this one world religion because it has nothing to do with what their belief system is or anything else like that. It's the people behind the religion that's the problem. And that's scary because the people behind the religion are scared.
Well, the one thing I said a long time ago, Jerry, and I gave it a name even. Okay, I called it, I did a video on it. And I named that
Mm-hmm.
video The Virus That Attacks the Human Brain. And everybody was, like the virus that attacks the human brain. So they thought I was talking about some flu bug or something that would, they give them encephalitis or some brain disease. And so they jumped on the video. Well, the virus that attacks the human brain is power and greed.
Yeah, power and greed. Well,
Because
that's why that's
that corrupts. It absolutely corrupts,
yeah.
totally.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, any religion that's accepting of all people is great. That's great. But like, I think exactly what I was saying was just saying that the guy behind it there were some problems with. That's all I was saying. Because that's my thing is that I always go back to the root. And I think I overstudied history, and that's sometimes my worst enemy is me overstudying history. Because there's so much horrible things throughout history, and when you see it, it kind of taints everything out there, and that's tough because we're so against so many things. What can we be for that is good? And that's tough. I mean, it's tough. I'm all for creating community and love and even spiritualism in a certain way or whatnot. But I just am against the people that are behind it. There's so many great things in this world that have been tainted. They've just been tainted. I mean, uh, they've ruined so much. Like Bill says all the time, TV could have been a great thing if it wasn't tainted by the. I mean, how many times? Uh, I think there's other people that are like me nowadays. It's hard for me to watch TV just because the kind of things that go on in Hollywood and what horrible things that an actor did, or and if that actor pops up on a show or whatever, and it disgusts you from the whole thing. And it's not so much that TV is a horrible thing because it could be used for good things. It's the people that are behind it that it's these secret societies. It's these dirty Jews. I'll say it. They are. They're dirty Jews because these 17 Frankists, just people that believe they have to do evil to bring about their Messiah and all this and that crap. Here's the thing, and I want to say something to those pieces of crap, Nimrod, dirty Jews. Look at all this shit. Where's your goddamn Messiah? I want to know. Where is it? Where's your Messiah? Huh? Because, I mean, they've done everything so horrible in this world to the point of ridiculousness. Where's your Messiah? Guess what? You don't got one. And any Messiah that those dirty Jews would have, what the heck? We should, that Messiah deserves to get their ass kicked. Any Messiah of these dirty Jews, any leader of them that they were able to bring about because of their evil, we need to kick that Messiah's ass because that's a dirty ass Messiah.
You mean you can't be a rabbi? Oh.
These people think we're gonna bring about the Messiah by doing all these evil things. All right. So when that Messiah is gonna come, he's not gonna be mad at you for doing all those evil things. So if that Messiah is not mad at you for doing all these evil things, then your Messiah is nothing more than a piece of shit. And didn't need. That's all I'm saying, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just saying is, if you got to tell your synagogue and preach to bring do evil things to bring about the Messiah and this and that. Your Messiah shows up because you did evil things, and he doesn't strike you down or punish you. Then that Messiah is nothing more than a turd. Nothing more than crap.
I look at the Christian religion and I think about what Jerry's saying, and I think about all the stuff they told you if you were going to sin. And I've seen this go so far overboard. You talk about, well, you're born in sin and you have to be forgiven or you're going straight to hell and you burn for eternity because your loving God will burn you and you won't die. You'll just be suffering and pain for eternity, right? Okay? And so then I said, well, about the newborn baby? Well, it was born in sin. So if it was born yesterday and died today because it was immature lungs or whatever, and died tomorrow after it was born yesterday, well, then it's going to hell and it's burning in sin and forever and ever. And I'm like, and that's by an all-loving God?
Yeah, I mean that's the crazy thing. These Christian, how can the Christian God be any good if all these priests do such evil things? How? It doesn't make any sense. It's redundant. It's ridiculous. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna get myself. I'm gonna get myself a really good hammer and some heavy duty spikes. And if the dirty Jewish Messiah shows up, I'm gonna crucify that motherfucker.
Oh no, you're gonna nail him to a cross. Oh no, will he be reelected? I mean, will he die and come back 3 days later?
I'll come to yeah. If he comes back again, I'll hit him in the head with a freaking spike. Yeah, I mean, come on. Tell me that's not a con job. Yeah, that's the biggest con job out there.
I had a girlfriend once who did something similar to that, Jerry. You know how you said if he comes back in, you're going to hit him in the head with a spike?
Yeah.
Well, she used to tell me if I did that, she was going to kill me. And I said, well, then I'd be dead. And she says, no, because I'm going to revive you so I can kill you again.
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing. It's the whole big con job that they've given, I think to a lot of the Jewish people, and it's just so they can fuel their own, their own world. If they get everybody to think it's okay to steal and rob, and then they come to the temples and they're part of this Jewish community, their Jewish community gets more money and grows, and then they start owning all these banks, and then they own all the lending processes and everything else, and they can be evil. And the more evil they are, or the more they rob and steal, the better they're doing and within the church community. And that's a big con job, the biggest con job ever.
And that's why they're smiling the next day, like Little Squirrel says. The parents were smiles on news the next day. Well, of course they was. Look at Robbie Parker.
Yeah. They're all brainwashed. I mean, they're smiling because, and with the Crisis Actor, we've seen it so many times, and you got to watch some of Sidethorn's work. I mean, they're doing it because they're being told that this is all to bring the Messiah, and this is good work, and and that this is all for the one world religion. It's gonna make peace on earth. They're brainwashed. These people are brainwashed. 42 generations of Jesus. Since when? What is 42 generations of Jesus? That's interesting. 42 generations of Jesus. Is that from when he was supposed to have died or some crap? I don't know.
Well, maybe we had 42 different Jesuses. I mean, because they've already been proven that there's actually more than one Jesus. And born at different times.
All kinds of Jesuses.
And I found that funny as heck, but then people still fall for this crap. So, It's simple. They pulled out the old playbook. That's what they did. They just pulled out the old playbook called the Bible, and they're going to give you a one-world religion, and you can have the Fetcher Institute. Don't worry, they're going to finance the whole thing for you.
All right, you know what? Fuck it, Bill. We're gonna beat them to the punch. Zach, I hope you're listening, man. We're gonna beat these people to the punch. I got it all figured out. I'm declaring myself Jesus.
Oh,
That's
darn,
it.
darn,
I'm
okay.
Jesus.
You're
Yeah,
going to be the 43rd Jew, the 43rd one, right?
My first activity as Jesus is going to be to give back the land of Israel to the Palestinians. And they have to be slaves to the Palestinians. I beat them to the punch. They can't. Now there's Messiah can't come because I beat him. I'm here. Sorry, dirty, sorry, dirty Jews. You can't have Messiah because it's
I already declared myself Messiah. You know what we got to do now, Jerry?
Yeah, I called
Google, you get on your knees. You owe this guy the comeback and apologize to him right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a brother.
Yeah.
Oh, no. We beat him. I know what happened, Jerry. You're the new Jesus, and the Jews killed the Lord's son. Google's the Jews. Oh.
Jesus Lafreniere.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ. We beat him. We already solved it. All right, this whole new world. You can cancel all new world activities. We're done. All future Floss Lives are canceled. We found Jesus. We found Jerry.
Well, no, they have to go to San Diego.
Yeah.
No, I'm right with Little Squirrel. Yeah.
Right. I'm right there with you, Little Squirrel. I can't watch TV anymore either.
I haven't watched TV in years.
Yeah, it's tough too because sometimes I just want I'm chilling out with my dog or something. We just want to chill or something. I want to watch something, and I can't even bring myself to watch TV. And not only that, I don't even have cable or nothing. So even if I tried, I can only get whatever's on the internet. And and every time I've tried to watch, I do the news test. That's Bill. Every once in a while, he'll even be on with me. I'll see how long I can watch the news. It never lasts more than like 30 or 40 seconds before I'm like, this is bullshit. So I'm with you on that one.
Can you get together with Zachary and use Mantra coding?
Yeah, me and Zach have been working on some of this stuff. It's tough because it is, cause, there's so much coding and everything, and it's the tough thing is Zach's great on being able to read why they did this or why they did that. And we can see a little, but it's for the protest, I'm not sure what we can do. I wanted to do something. Maybe Zach can come up with something. Actually, we did. Is the time we're going to have the protest. I didn't announce it to everybody yet, but it is actually the time of the protest. Zach came up with the time, and I think he's right on point with the number he came up for the time to start the protest. So I guess we'll see if that coding works because we're going to use some of that. Yeah. So yes, Little Squirrel, we are going to use some of that gematria for the protest. Maybe Zach could come up with some other things we can do by the numbers while we're there. That would be great. Yeah.
Have you figured out a way to do a live feed yet from there, Jerry?
Have I figured out how to?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. We can call in. I know where we're going to do it. It shouldn't have a problem. The problem is with those stupid towers that they have in Sandy Hook. I'm not sure whether or not they might be able to knock out my signal or anybody's signal. They got some weird towers up in Sandy Hook that they don't have anywhere else on the planet. If anybody wants to get a hold of me, I could send them pictures of them. They're the most bizarre towers, and I'm not even sure what they're used for, although they're designed as high-powered microwave transmissions, and not for like a cell phone. It's a directional microwave. So I'm not exactly sure what those can be used for, and I'm really hoping that that's something that they can't knock out a signal with. but I guess we'll find out. Maybe while I'm there, if I can sneak in and get some video or some pictures of them up close while I'm there.
Yeah, maybe
That
so. I mean, while you're there, why not? I wish I was there
well,
with you, man. I'd love to be there with you. I'd bring my camera down there, and we could go down and visit a little more after the protest.
well, I might have a friend that can run real fast, get in there, and see if he can videotape and get me some numbers or some some stamping, some corporate stamping from these transmitters, so I can see what the hell they are. If we can get some numbers and some manufacturers, we might be able to narrow down what these transmitters actually are. If they have a model number on it or something, we can find out what they're really doing. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Now, I want Zach. What was the coding for the day that it actually happened? Because it is December 14th. And what is that? That's what's that's like 10 days before Christmas. 11 days from Christmas. Uh, you know, 112 alternate dial code for 911. That's what I like to know is a little bit of the coding on the date of that shooting. I'm sure some work was done on that. It might have been one of the videos he lost. He lost a lot of stuff when he got knocked off of YouTube.
Feeder 112.
Yeah. Well, ours is going to be theater, and so that's the thing. Maybe we need to use the numbers in a different way. It's something that are more positive numbers towards what we're doing. I don't know, because the only thing, I'm like the thing I'm thinking about it is I don't know enough about the numbers, but it seems like they use a lot of these numbers, but they're always doing them for bad things. I wonder if there's other numbers that are actually more positive or like the positive hand of doing things.
Something good for the good outcome.
Yeah, yeah, that would be interesting because, I mean, eh, I love using the things that they use against us back at them, but is there a positive way of doing it versus their always negative way? And just that would
Yeah,
be interesting to know.
they have to return all the money in all the homes.
That's hey, that's another stipulation of me being Jesus. They're gonna have to give. They're gonna have to give back everybody that stole money for the Sandy Hook scam. They're gonna have to give back their houses. They're gonna have to give back all their money, and they're going to have to clean the streets with their tongues for the rest of their lives. you know, why not?
Twice a week.
Twice a week, every day. I'm gonna make it. They have to lick the streets for the rest of their lives. These dirty liars. you know, they talk about how they're gonna have 2,700 slaves. Wait, not goy slaves. I think it's gonna be the other wrong way around. Each person is gonna have to be a slave to 2,700 people. you know or their families. It will be continuously for the next 2,700 years, something like that. You know, because the bullshit's got to stop one way or another. You know, and then shit. I don't see any other Messiah showing up, so I'll take the position.
You can have
Screw
the
them.
yep. You might as well have the position. You already
Might as
called it.
well.
So
Because we don't want their Messiah to show up anyways, because their Messiah will be a dirty Messiah. dirty. Nobody who wants a dirty Messiah.
I
Kind of
know,
Messiah.
Jane. You got that position, so I'm gonna go ahead and dress up as a gray.
You can, as a gray alien, or you can?
Yeah, I might as well dress up as a gray.
Okay.
I have a picture of David Icke on my back.
What are we gonna do?
I don't know. I'd like to stop what's going on in this world, and I agree with Little Squirrel. It can be very depressing knowing what we know.
Yeah. No, and it is, and that's the thing too is they're putting people into a position where they're going to be depressed, right? And where people are going to be starting to search for some kind of something out there. And now that they divided so many people and push people out of the mainstream and away from each other, people are going to start longing for community. And if they can start directing people into these new spiritualist, um, groupings of new age stuff, they're gonna make some leeway. I honestly think they're gonna be able to get a lot of people directed towards that, and a lot of people are gonna fall for it. And it's only going to be a deception, because that's where people going to remember when you come to the new age movement and all that crap. It is designed out of the MK Ultra program. A lot of that stuff goes back to the old Buddhist teachings and everything else. But even then, a lot of the mind control techniques came from the Buddhist. And where do you think a lot of that mind control stuff came from? Some of it was used for good back then, but a lot of it was used as mind control.
Well, Jerry, my position has been changed. I can't be a gray. You
Why
have to
not?
read the last comment. She's right.
What?
Okay. Yep. Nope. Jerry's going to be Christ, Bill. You ought to be
Why?
Go be John the Baptist.
Yeah, but doesn't John the Baptist get his head cut off?
Oh, that's what they're doing.
You sure you want that position?
You may want to rethink that, Bill.
Yeah, go ahead. I'd rather you take that position than me.
Well, hold on now. You're going to be crucified, and I'm going to get decapitated.
Wait. Well, here's the thing. I'm, because I got artificial legs. I mean, I'm only going to get 2 nails in the hands. I mean, my feet. I mean, you're just nailing through wood to wood. I mean, it shouldn't hurt too much.
Well, all the stuff that goes on does blow my mind a little bit. So I suppose my head probably would fall off. But since you're going to be the Messiah and you come back, when you come back, will you please reattach my head?
Hey, listen. Hey, I can already walk on water because my legs float. So I'm already like, come on, Messiah, what you got? I can walk on water. Let's see their Messiah do that. Yeah, come on, dirty Jews, bring your Messiah. Step up to my plate. Yes, let's see you walk on water, huh? Yeah.
Well, but now I think everybody here should go to 153. And if you make videos, you definitely want to go to 153.
Yeah.
Maybe one day they'll get upgraded and we'll be able to do live feeds from 153. For now, I'm going to keep my backup YouTube channel, and I'm not going to do a lot up on YouTube. But I will be here for the live feeds, and till Google gets tired of me and throws me off, But and for Jerry, I don't know. It's up to him if he wants to open up a back account here, and then maybe just throw a comedy video up now and again and keep the truth over somewhere else.
Yeah.
Can't put the truth up here, that's for sure. I mean, they do a good job of putting it on a live show for now.
I forget about that. And well. And if people do good on 153 News, and if you do notice a shill that sneaks in there, let us know, let somebody know, because they are so busy building this website. I mean, it's moving fast. They went from literally nothing, to, I mean, an astronomical amount of videos and just people signing up and everything real quick.
YouTubers.
Quick. They went from, in 1 month, they went from nothing to, I had a video in there that I put up a couple days ago, already got 200 views. And I mean, that's from a site that went from nothing, so it's growing fast, and they are, dealing with what they have to deal on a low shoestring budget to build it up. So you have to be patient with it sometimes. But it's a great site. Things load up quick. It streams clear and quick, and all that jazz.
Oh, I like
So
the format they laid out for your channel. So you can actually have a channel that's, it's a pretty good format. I like it over there. So, and you're going to be around the least road truthers, but she's right. If you see a shield slip through, make sure and call them out. Let everybody know who they are. Because they're going to try to infiltrate this site. You know it.
oh yeah, they're probably already trying. I'm sure they've already trying to infiltrate it already. So I mean, and just like anything else, it's gonna happen. But like Jason, the creator of the site, has promised, as long as you're legit, they're not there to knock you off or anything else. As long as it's the truth, that's all that matters. And if so you're not going to get a lot of the, I think people are going to have to try and finally realize when you get to 153 News, you're going to see other people like me, people that are working with what they have and what they can afford. They don't have the fancy desks. They don't have the fancy equipment. They don't have all that fancy stuff. You want to know why? Because it's not being paid for by the CIA.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I totally understand you, little squirrel. I'm totally with you. I totally understand you.
Yeah.
I mean, what she's saying is correct. I mean, but it's not your fault. Because we got to
Yeah.
realize that we've all been lied to our whole lives. All of it.
Well, and she's important lessons. I mean that's something. I mean, hey, you need, and we'd love to support you. I'd love to get a group of people that did donate to Sandy Hook so we can sue them. And just like I've promised everybody, as soon as I can get back on my feet, after what happened to me, or we can get a lawsuit against some of these evil people, I want to pay back any donation that came my way with interest, because this is not about money. This is about what's doing right. I mean, if it was about money, I would keep my mouth shut, because I could sure hell make a lot more money. I mean, just my family would help me out if I, kept my mouth shut.
Oh, yeah,
But
these freaking
it's not about money. So, yeah, it really sucks what they did, and it really sucks. The evil out there, and people, this is what people got to understand, is the way we saw the Fetzer Institute is involved, how they're even tied to the Sandy Hook shooting, it's crazy. So these people that want to bring you this newer world, one world religion, are involved in these false flags.
Yeah.
So, if you start hearing about this word source, they're talking about God and some of these beliefs, a lot of these things they're saying sound nice. And, their whole one world religion, that's not the worst thing in the world. The problem is those same people that ripped everybody off and that are causing these false flags and doing these things and stealing money are the same people that are putting together this religion. And that's something that needs to come out and be talked about more, is this one world religion. Because, forget the New World Order. That's not even half as important as the one world religion, because religion, let's face it, they control us in so many ways, money and religion and everything else. But religion is key, especially when you have people like the Vatican that has had control on this planet Earth for so long. And, like they say, all roads lead to Rome. They're not going to let go of, they're not going to let go of their stranglehold too easily.
No, they're not. They have used religion for neons to control people, to control the masses. And it's worked out beautiful for them. The lying, the deception, the BS. And this is exactly what they're doing again. That's why I said they pulled out the old playbook. That's exactly what they're doing.
They need to make people see that there's evil in the world. And, and when you say you can't understand the evil in the world, I can't I understand it a little bit, because I understand that they're intentionally causing it so that people see evil, so that they turn to religion. I hope people understand that. So they need for the people that aren't awake to believe, oh my gosh, these crazy people are out there shooting everybody. They're so evil. Where's this evil come from? we need to stop it. And then they need the awake people to be like, oh, there's evil, corporate evil people. There's so much evil in this world. There must be demonic forces. Hey, look, we can turn to spirituality and let's stop it. They got it covered. They're going to turn everybody. They're going to do what they can to turn everybody into the religion and into spirituality. And, that's why you see so much of this Christian talk, because as long as they can keep people going to the church, they can control them in those churches until they slowly transform them into the religion that they plan on, bringing in. And it's going to be a slow transformation. Everybody's looking for this thing where they're just going to flip and that's going to be it. It's not going to, you read anything that they write about when they talk about these things, that they know it's a slow transformation. And, when you see places like the Fetzer Institute that are funded with over $400 million and all these other places, and how they give these hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to all these new age groups, that's just drops in the bucket. So they haven't even started to spend their money yet. And that's the scary part, is they're doing all this on a shoestring budget to them. They haven't even started to spend money on this stuff yet. So that's even scarier, that we're dealing with what we're dealing with today, that's out there, and all the infiltration, all the turn agents, all the liars, all the shills and all the trolls and everything else. And that's happening with them not even spending much money yet. So to me, that's scary, because if they start really dropping some money down on the plate, God knows what they can do. They can really do some bad things.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how many people go on the 153 and watch, but you'll see that Jerry and I put a video together on the Fetzer Institute. You'll see I put another one up where I called there, and I played dumb with them and talked about the TFL thing, so that they would feed me more information about themselves. But they actually just do the funding. They go out in your communities and they fund churches and groups and schools.
Oh, not schools. I mean, they fund, school groups that are, geared towards, anything that's geared towards this new world religion.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you just go online, in some of the groups, they're even giving money to these, brainwave studies and this and that. They're still in the phase of trying to figure out how they're going to do it. I think people think they know exactly how they're going to do it. They're just going to do it like this. Well, they understand that people change, and that there's they're able to gauge information from the internet constantly, and they're learning. They're still in a lot in a learning. So a lot of what's going to come hasn't even started yet. And I think that's what people don't understand. I think they're waiting for something big to happen right away, and we still might have a big false flag before Christmas, but that's still not going to, be their big change or anything yet, because they know they have to slowly, turn us into it,
Mm-hmm.
and, it's got to be something that people don't even notice until it's too late and it's already happened. So it's going to be a slow turn if we don't start making ourselves aware of like some of the keywords they're using, like replacing God with the word source and stuff like that. If people don't become aware that that's what they're doing, we're going to, we can easily fall for it, because a lot of things they say are, great. Oh, it's all about love. And, people they got to understand. All right. When you're talking about these high level Masons and everything else that are behind this stuff, when they're talking about love and light to them is Lucifer. So when they're talking about love and light, they're basically saying love Lucifer. So next time somebody says love and light, slap them in the face, because they just told you to love Lucifer.
Exactly.
And people aren't catching this.
Now, was that something else we talked about yesterday for a little bit? I don't think they dropped the alien scare. And I'm not sure when or how or what. But I wouldn't be surprised if an Independence Day happens for us somewhere with some technology to make you think there's real aliens. I could
Yeah, Bill was talking about he watched the Independence Day 2, and they had a ball that was on there, and I never watched the movie, and I said, "What did the ball look like?" And he goes, "Oh, it's just a silver ball." I said, I went online. I said, "Does it look like this?" and it was the exact ball that they have at the Vatican, and they have at New York City, and they have at the UN.
Exactly. I mean, I was like, wow, this is awesome. I told him they had this ball that was they shot thinking it was the aliens coming, and this
Predictive
ball,
programming.
yep, and this ball was actually from another alien race who had been wiped out by the other aliens, and this ball had the knowledge to help us save the Earth, right? And when I told Jerry this, the script line of the movie, Jerry said a ball, and he went and pulled up this picture and gave it to and sent it to me, and it was the exact ball. It was the exact one in the movie, right to the T, and I was just laughing. I seen the symbolism in the show myself. It's loaded with it.
Well, you know, Little Squirrel said something that you feel sorry for these kids that are from these elites. And so I want to explain a little bit about the MK Ultra program, and people don't understand this.
Yeah.
All right. Believe it or not, all right, since the times of the pharaohs, they considered disassociation to be a good trait for their children. Okay. And it is an inherited trait. Okay. Disassociation is the key for MK Ultra. Believe it or not, a lot of these elites put their children through MK Ultra programming, and they consider it a good thing. Do they have the same type of program that they do to a Manchurian candidate type of person? No, but what they are tortured at a young age, and they're put through a bad experience at a young age, and they are put through a program because you got to think about it. You know, if their kids are taught disassociation, right? When they become older and those kids do evil things, they can dissociate, you know, and they take so much money from the, from the masses or do something like that. They don't feel any guilt because of the disassociation that was programmed to them. You know, that was, so don't feel sorry for these kids. These kids are, well, I mean, we do feel sorry because they're MK Ultra victims, but, you know, it's a tough thing. So when you see like pictures with Prince Harry, with his making his satanic signs and stuff like that, and why they haven't, gotten upset about their mother dying, it's because they have disassociation. It's always a pass down. So when you're talking about disassociation through the royal lines, you're talking about, it's not just the Queen and Prince Charles that don't have it. No, they have it too, because you got to think about it. It's generational. It's always passed down.
Yeah.
So these super elites, they don't give a shit, and it's an inherit. A portion of that disassociation is inherited. All right. And a portion of that disassociation is from programming that they've had as children. So it's been passed down, and there's been found instructions on how to do some of this type of programming to the royal kids on Egyptian temples. So they've been doing this forever to their own family lines. So it's not just that they're bad; they're psychopaths by trait, by bloodline. It's been passed down to them. So when somebody says, is a psychopath, is it, from nature or nurture? Well, and when it comes to, it's been proven, when it comes to elite bloodlines, it's passed down for the most part. So yeah, and just like Rhonda said, disassociation is like a part of the brain splits off. She's exactly right what she just said. So, but they can also work in ways like this. So if they're bombing a village of children, that can be a traumatic experience. So if their brain shuts off from that traumatic experience, they have no problem bombing that village of children. So, we think that, this person must be controlled or that. They really not much control over them because they have the disassociation. If it's told to a president, yeah, it's for the country's benefit to go bomb a village of babies. To them, well, whatever. It's village of benefit. Boom, bomb the babies. They don't care. It's awful. When they pretend like they're caring, that's just a psychopathic behavior. They're just faking it, and it doesn't bother to them. They're turning around and laughing. It's so. You feel sorry for people like that, but I mean, what do we do with people like that? How do we stop that? And when they're constantly doing it generation after generation, that's the scary part. It's really scary. Yeah, it's no empathy. Haley's right. They got no empathy, and they don't care. And that's the other part of it is not only do they have no empathy, they're using words like empathy and, you got to be more empathetic. You have to feel bad for these people. You have to feel bad so they can control you. And that's the worst part is empathy is important, but the people behind, when they use these things, the people behind it all aren't empathetic. So if you're empathetic and the person that's controlling your belief is not empathetic, you're in some trouble.
Yeah.
So it's important to be empathetic, but if there's an evil person, that's controlling you, you don't have to be empathetic. You can be mad at that person. Not only that, it's natural law. You should be angry at that person.
Yep.
They want everybody to be stuck on this love and light, so we don't come after them with pitchforks and torches like we should be. Right now, this whole country should be up in arms, burning down the White House, but nobody is because everybody's got to be too empathetic. Oh, you might hurt the president. Oh no, or you might hurt somebody. Well, you know what? We're at a point where they're screwing us so much and hurting us so much. You're basically an idiot for being too empathetic. You're an idiot for being too love and light because you're not self-protecting yourself.
Well, yeah, that's like kissing. It's like kissing your enemy's hand. Oh, thank you for stabbing me with that knife. Here, let me kiss your hand. Can you stab me again, please?
Yeah. They're always saying light from darkness. All right. Well, that's why they want to create the darkness, and then they're going to show you the light. What we need to do is, we we need to show them a thing or two, and then show them the darkness. Good night.
Exactly. Good night. With no wake-up call.
Don't you love how, come on, how many times? When are people going to start, understanding? Just like what was a couple of weeks ago, it was, we got 1,800 indictments. They're going to take over. Now, it's always bullshit. George Soros is never going to get arrested and anything like that.
Got that right.
What if we were, if people actually did the right thing, all right, and actually loved each other and loved the world, they would be at George Soros's house with a baseball bat caving his skull in. That would be the right thing to do for humanity. But instead, they're so convinced that you have to be empathetic to everything and all the time and have to just love, love, love. And you can't hurt, even if they're evil, you can't hurt George Soros. No, that makes you evil for falling for that because you're allowing him to do so much harm to so many other people. So does it make sense that, if these people go out and kill 100 babies, that you sit there and go, oh, I got to love and be empathetic. And if we just say enough prayers or we just send enough love,
maybe
then it's going to stop.
Yeah, maybe
it
if
ain't going to stop them.
Yeah, it's like maybe if I kiss his feet, he'll be nice to me the next time. He sure will when he decapitates you.
It's not going to stop these people from killing village of babies by being empathetic and love and light. That's not going to stop them.
People should
they don't give a shit.
People should have been outraged and mad a long time ago. Because what's going on in this country and when people wake up and you see what's really going on, you should become angry. You should want to go after them. But most people won't do that.
No.
And that's the problem. It's like trying to get a protest together to help Jerry in other states. But you can't even get one or two people that want to join you.
Yeah, just think about how many babies and innocent people have died just this year because not enough people got up to say no. You can't do that anymore. You can't drone a church or a synagogue or a mosque or a school. You can't, I mean, people are yelling about it online. You think I'm mean? Do you think they care about your meme? Do you think, some of these memes that are against them are actually created by, what is it, the Navy, U.S. Navy's Department of Meme Magic. They create memes so people jump on issues and think they are doing something online to change things. That way you don't get off your ass and actually do something. Mm-hmm. So some of these issues that you're fighting are actually created for you to be fighting online so you don't ever actually do anything. So, people should be outraged, I hate to say it. We should be encouraging vets to go out there and do something about their politicians that are doing so much evil, because they got really screwed. But instead, they want to over medicate them and take away their guns and everything else because they are a threat. But you want to know what? They have every right to be pissed off. They've been lied to. They've gone through hell. They've been brainwashed. And you think these people are going to stop killing innocent people? No, they're not. As long as it's making money, that's all they care about. As long as it's, helping out their power position or whatever it may be, they don't care. They're not going to stop until people do something.
And it ain't going to happen if people can't even get up and go to a protest. No. I mean, if you can't hold a sign or speak your piece in public, how would you ever get off your butt to stop them? And if we don't get off our butt and stand together, we'll never stop them, and they'll win.
And they're already winning.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it's already win. I mean, explain one thing they've lost. One battle they've lost. I mean, 9/11. Did we catch them? Yeah, we called them out. We know, and there's a lot of people that did research and could trace down who took money, where the money went, who made all this stuff.
But did we do anything?
Do you see any charges? Who's being charged?
Yeah, that's it. Did we do anything? No.
Yeah.
They got by with it.
They got by with it. You name it. What they've done, they've gotten by with it. I mean, look all the way back to the days of the original MK Ultra. And they, when they did come out into Congress, what happened? Oh, they came to Congress. They said, "Oh, we're going to end the program." Okay. We know they never ended the program. They just changed the name of it. And anybody go to jail for that? No. So, name a battle that they lost. What did they lose? What did they lose?
And then they scammed it right in your face in this last election. Well, if Trump gets in, we're going to put Hillary in jail. They're going to get prosecuted for their charges. And now what do we see?
Well, that's not the case. And on Blue said that's just suicide. They always win. It's not the case. They haven't always won. In the long run, did they win after the French Revolution? Yeah. But let me tell you something. There was a good term where the people had control. And not only that, is they hung the king and queen, So,
Maybe go back to Tricky Nicky.
And not only that, is it bought time and changed legislation to slow things down. And that, because of what they did, we probably would already be out of one world order and religion and all that. But because those people rose up, it slowed things down and changed things.
Yeah.
So we may not win in the very long time, but if you want to buy some time for your kids to have a future and have a normal life without it being totally brainwashed or being, have to worry about it be, some pervert fondling them when they go into the bathroom, we need to actually get off our ass and do something.
Well, yeah,
90 seconds.
The last time anybody done something in this country was when Nixon resigned. When President Nixon resigned was because people actually got up and was doing something. Unfortunately, he didn't go to jail like he should have.
Well, nothing ever gets done the way it should, but we can slow them down at least. I mean, even that's worth something.
Yeah. But nowadays, we ain't even doing nothing. You can't even get up to go
60
protest.
seconds.
And if you can't get up and go protest, that's why I said Jerry's doing more than anybody's doing. I want to get out there and join him. I want to go up here in Minnesota and I want to do the same thing.
Well, here's the thing about, as you brought up about Iceland. Iceland is a confusing one because they already have the pagan beliefs there. So I think they don't have them so much on a lot of the New World issues, but I think they have them a lot on the religious issues, which is more important. Iceland's a tricky one. Then again, I mean, how much do they worry about Iceland? I mean, there's like 4 people that live there. And that's the thing. Smaller, when you got to think about it. As small as Iceland is, where the communities are so small, the people know each other and can get more done. Because they're more, because they see each other every day, and it's more of a community. We're a bigger country, and you can't even, like I said earlier in the show, how many people out there even know all the names of both sides of their neighbors' houses or apartments or whatever? Most of the people out there, if you ask yourself, do you know the name of every single person in the houses next to you? Do you? I can almost guarantee there's a large percentage out there that doesn't know.
Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
So, that's that.
Yep, well, Blog Talk's done for the night, and it'll be up to Jerry if he wants to go on here. Otherwise, we'll call it.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody's got any other questions, we can answer them. Otherwise, we can go and we'll see. So,
we're still here live up on YouTube. We just ain't live on Blog Talk no more.
I don't even know if we're live on YouTube because Rhonda's saying we cut out. So.
Well, let's see. It says I'm live, but And
we're back. We're back. I'm glad I'm back. Jesus is back. I've risen.
There you go. See? See what happens when I take Jesus down? He comes back, and Jerry's the new Jesus.
Yeah, it's my specialty, dying and coming back.
Well, but that's just it. I would love to see people start realizing that we're never going to change anything unless we're willing to get off our duffs and leave our house. And that we're going to start standing together.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not going to be easy, but there are people out there that care. Sidethorn and Granny, they're out there fighting every day, and man, some of this stuff. And like you said, if people get out there, you'd be amazed what you see. The stuff the stuff they're getting. And has Sidethorn gone to jail or been arrested? No. And he's been out there with a camera. As long as you go out there and you're peaceful and you can see the way he approaches anybody or anything. He's just, hey, be honest. He doesn't swear at him. He's kind and nice to them, and just ask them to be honest. And they can't do it. And they can't hurt you for asking a question. What's wrong with asking a question? If you have, if you're going to meet, to question these people or to find out more information, and you're doing it, just for, for the betterment of man, or doing it for the right reasons, they can't come after you. How, because that puts them in a predicament, because, these people are supposed to be doing it for all love and light. So wait a second, when we can't make it look dark that we're doing, it's just going to attract attention to it. They don't want, these court cases that you see about people getting arrested with Sandy Hook and all this and that, those are all fake. Every time we track these down, they're tied to shills and they're fake.
Well, but what people don't understand is this. How many of you in his chat room remember the Trayvon Martin case? Okay, because that's a really good example of what Jerry just told you.
I'm still kicking my cousin's ass because he's in the military and he supported that. I'm going to kick his ass. I'm going to kick his ass right in front of his mother.
Because, see, the Trayvon Martin case never happened. Oh, but that was a courtroom and they blah, blah. Yeah, it was a mock courtroom. It was like Hollywood.
They do them all the time. They did one in Kalamazoo. Yeah. They had half a court case. They never even finished it.
They'll give you camera views of the courtroom. They'll show you this or that. But what they won't tell you is it's all actors in a mock courtroom, just like they do in Hollywood. How many of you been to Disney World and went and seen MGM Studios? And they took you on a tour through their little town. And you see they built these houses, and these houses look completely finished except for the backside. And how real that town looks. Well, that's what they've done with the courtrooms. That's what they're doing to you. They're giving you a Hollywood act right in your face.
Yeah. Yeah, and Andrew said he drove through Newtown and they had it all blocked off. If he comes to the protest, I'll show him around, so he gets a chance to see a little bit of the area, and maybe I can help him understand, that area, because I mean, it's especially with that where they have the old school. It doesn't take them too much to block that off, and they only got to really block off like two streets, and you can't get near the school. And they'll still be able to have local traffic get through fairly easy. So it's kind of crazy. Yeah, well, the top Freemasons are tied to everything. They're tied to the Fetzer. They're tied to, I'm surprised I never got any backlash too much, or at least I don't think I did from it, as I wrote a letter to the Council of Grand Masters asking them why all their Freemason symbology is involved in all these false flags. Of course, I never get an answer. I wrote an email to them.
Yeah,
but that's what more people need to start questioning them. If you see a Freemason, if you know a Freemason, or you have an uncle, a cousin, or there's one that lives down the street, you need to question them. Ask them. Ask them like you're stupid. Ask them, why is there Masonic symbology? And now you don't even have to say this false flag. You can say this shooting or this car accident. Why would there be Masonic symbolism in? Ask them to their face. Why? Did a Freemason do it? You're telling me that kid was a Freemason? So why is there symbology in it? You got to ask them.
Yeah. So much of this stuff. I mean, that's why Scythorn and Granny, I think what they got listed, like 32 different false flags now.
Yeah.
Like 32 of them. Okay, and $100,000.
And then they added the moon landing on there. So it's not just the false flags. If you could prove the moon landing really happened, then you get the $100,000 also.
Yeah. So, but that should tell you something, there's a whole lot of people out here right now that would love to have that $100,000.
Oh yeah, I lost my house, everything over this stuff. I could get back on my feet. And I can pay everybody back, that would I'd be able to give everybody double interest. But we all know that you can't prove it because he wouldn't have offered it if you could, and he obviously knows that those particular false flags, nobody died.
Yeah,
and Sandy Hook is one of them on the list,
and that's where he pissed off InfoWars. And he did a good job on that one. You got to go to 153 and check that out. But he did a good job on that one. Because, that's what that is they're signing disclosure agreements. They're part of Alex Jones's crew. They're getting fame. They're getting in the spotlight.
I noticed anybody that left Alex Jones, they're not allowed to talk about Sandy Hook at all. They're allowed to talk about Sandy Hook, but they're not allowed to get into anything new related. They can only talk about the old stuff, and that's it. I've noticed that. So anybody that worked for Sandy Hook, you might as well just scrub off them worth being any kind of a good source.
Yeah, you're not going to get nowhere with people like that. I mean, this is the sad thing is you got people like Alex Jones and David Ikes out there in the public that were put there deliberately. You got to really be careful. Go ahead.
Little Squirrel mentioned something about how some of these wake up some people. Okay, this is where it gets weird. Okay, and it gets really weird with this part. Believe it or not, from what I'm reading, they are wanting people to wake up, a certain percentage of people. Okay. It's so they can, because those awake people, they're able to steer towards their new spiritualist belief. And I'm finding that many people are falling and going to that new age route because That was part of George Soros's big push and YouTube and everything else, is kicking people like me off and pushing more of the MK Ultra programming. Okay, is they want people awake so that they snap out of some of this stuff that they've believed in the past. If you, let's say you were a Christian all your life and you don't go to church anymore, all right, you wake up, you find out there's evil in this world, and you watch 100 videos and you believe there's all kinds of demons and aliens coming after you, and our fight is gonna, next thing you know, you're into this new age stuff because you follow you got involved in all these other videos and this and that. You're going right down the path that they wanted you to go down. So I forgot what they called it, Bill. I remember reading it was called the Awakening something or whatever. They invested a lot of money into, actually part of what's going on is to wake some people up.
Well, yeah. And
that's the sick
correct.
part of it.
Well, yeah, but they're going to wake some people up, but the people that want to wake up are just like what Jerry said, are the ones that can lead right into their new spirituality.
What they want is they want people awake, but they don't want them awake. They don't want them awake like me, Bill, or Zach, or Zythor, or Green. They want them awake just enough, that they can lead them down the path.
Yeah, it's sort of like, you just got out of bed, you hadn't had your coffee yet, you can't think straight because you just now woke up. I mean, just now. That's all the further awake you're allowed to be, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Young Guns is right. Why? I mean, that's so many people get into, we have to wake everybody up. And a long time ago, that might have been a good idea. But the problem is we don't have some of these people out here that are legitimate and, really caring about changing things, or not involved in these secret societies that are, sharing information. So, a long time ago, when they couldn't get steered so easily and they woke up more naturally, I think that would have been a good idea to wake everybody up. But now, I'm not 100% sure that it's even a good idea to really wake anybody else up. Number one, they're going to wake up to a world of disgust, and there's a good chance they could fall down the wrong path that they're going to be led down. And, so sometimes just leaving them alone and, letting them go about their lives thinking they're living in their happy little world is, probably a better idea, to be honest with you.
Yeah, if they're going to wake up, let them wake up on their own.
Yeah.
Because trying to wake people up now, you already know how hard it is. And I agree with Jerry. Plus, what's something Jerry said earlier, which I would agree on too. When it comes to actually doing something, a lot of the public's going to do nothing but get in your way.
Well, a little squirrel, how does everybody know who the Shills are? And listen, hey, when everybody wakes up, and, listen, I watched, Alex Jones for a week or two when I first woke up. I didn't know he was a shill until I realized it. It's not always easy. But one way I've learned that you can see that somebody's definitely a shill, if they're working with expensive equipment, or they're getting promoted along in YouTube, or their videos are recommended, or, they have hundreds of thousands of subscribers or tens of thousands of them. Yeah, they're a shill, because we're finding out that, listen, if they're going to kick me off with like less than 1,400 subscribers, for non-videos that were like not most non-threatening videos that I ever had, they kicked me off for, and going after somebody as small as me, trust me, if you're still on there and they pretend that they lose their channels or whatnot, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. If they come back right away or something, that's bullshit. No.
I don't have to be that. I could back up. I back up everything I say.
Yeah. But if you see people, I see people on YouTube, and if you see them and you see these microphones, they're talking into $10,000 microphones, and they're trying to make their whole scene look crappy or whatnot, or they're trying to be amateurs. Where did they get these $10,000 microphones? Where are they getting the money to do this? We saw Jason Goodman when we tracked down his address. He lives in a $4.9 million apartment. He's asking for money.
Yeah.
And that's not a joke. It's a very serious thing, and we can prove it. lives in a $4.9 million New York, Chelsea, Manhattan apartment building, the hottest neighborhood to live in Manhattan.
Yep, exactly. And then he wants
he's
their
out there
money.
asking for money and traveling all around.
He travels everywhere, does live feeds every day, and he needs your donations, huh?
Yeah,
really?
Bullshit. So if they got fancy equipment, they're a shill. Because number one, this is how it works. That, you know, if they're going to continue to support that lifestyle where they can afford the fancy equipment and everything else, they have to go along with the agenda. And or else they're going to be kicked off of YouTube. You know, and if they're making an income off of YouTube or whatever they're making it from, they can't take a chance. So they have to, you know, stick within a certain criteria of certain things. And a lot of things that are being told to people out there that we think we're fighting against or whatnot are actually being generated by these people intentionally. All right. So people do need to understand this. You know, they are supplying some of this stuff intentionally. So, you know, it isn't always easy to tell who the shills or not. And, you know, I've made mistakes before, but your best bet is if they got any type of, you know, nice equipment or anything like that, or they're hiding their name or something like that, you know, that's how you can tell. Or, you know, if you see somebody's real name, track down who they are. Find out that you know, where they live. If they live in a fucking, you know, I mean, Alex Jones lives in $1 million house. I mean, you got all these. I know how all these people out there that are supposedly giving you the truth living in $1 million houses. I know my house ain't no $1 million house. I got wood paneling on my walls.
Hold on. I live in $1 million house, you know, Jerry. And when you look at the outside of my house and it looks like a rundown mobile home, in a rundown mobile home park. Okay.
So I mean, you know, that's how you can tell if somebody's a shill. You know, that's how you can tell.
It's actually it's actually pretty easy to pick up on shills. The thing is for a long time people didn't know it because you had not as many. Now YouTube is overrun with them.
Well, I mean, you know, one good thing the guy from Gnostic Media he talks about the trivium method. Okay, the trivium method is where there's no such thing as a contradiction in nature. All right, so if something is a contradiction, you need to investigate because it's most likely not true. You know, in other words, if a guy lives in, you know, if there's a nice camera shooting, if you see it in the background or on the floor in the studio or something shooting, or an expensive microphone, that's a contradiction. That means you need to start investigating. You know what I mean? You know, if they got, you know, some fancy green screen up or something like that, that's a contradiction. You know, it's a contradiction because if he's truth, you know, that's usually people that are telling the truth, and the good people, they don't have a ton of money because they didn't go out and steal a whole bunch of money from people.
Well, you know what? That's just, you know.
So there's a contradiction.
Yeah, Young Guts said something that's correct. There is no money or recognition to be gained fighting the good fight.
No, there isn't.
No.
So
if you're fighting the real fight, you're not here for money. If you have to have money to do this, I'm sorry, you're not fighting the fight. You're part of the problem.
And that's why I say you bring up the trivium method. There are no contradictions in nature. So if it's a contradiction, that's where you start investigating. You know, if there's you know, that's just something you have to do to see through the bull crap. You know, and they'll bring up contradictions often. You know, I mean, if something in your head says, well, I saw a situation and to me, I think it happened like this. And if they say something that, you know, you might believe because they're popular and everybody else is believing it, but it doesn't go along with, you know, what you thought, you know, you have to investigate, because here's the thing. You need to investigate because if that is the truth, you need to understand why it's the truth. And if it's a lie, you need to understand that it's a lie so you can stay away from that person.
Exactly.
You know, so there's two ends of that, you know, because, you know, we're not always right in what we see and hear. We you know, because we are fed so much crap all the time. So if there's a contradiction, we need to investigate to verify that it is the truth, and we understand why it's the truth, so that if it happens again, we can understand, oh, well, that happened because I learned that's how that happens. But we also could learn that it was, wait a second, this is there's nothing that backs it up, so this is bullshit. We need to stay away from the person that keeps on giving me this bullshit.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, guys, I think we're going to cut it tonight.
Yeah. Sounds good. Good night, everybody.
But you all take care. I'll be back here again tomorrow night. TFL topics with Warren. And then, of course, next Sunday night, I'll be up here Thursday with Warren as well. And next Sunday night, Jerry and I'll be back again. That's my favorite night of the week, anyhow. So. But with that being said, guys, y'all take care and have a good one, and hope to see you again next Sunday, possibly tomorrow night for those who want to show up. But until then, y'all have a good one.